This program is a collaboration of personal opinions and individual free thought. It does not represent the views or narrative of the mainstream corporate media hacks. Viewer discretion is advised.
And here we go.
Live from the bell tower, taking a stand for your rights, your liberties, and all the bullshit in between. You're listening to Break the Bell Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are back after seems like a long hiatus.
It has been.
Oh, there you go.
All right, I'm back.
Try now.
I'm back.
There you are.
All right. A little bit longer for me.
Longer for you? Not really.
No, I know, just because my mic was muted.
Oh, yeah. You get an extra second of hiatus.
Yeah.
No, we had skipped the weekend wrap up because of Halloween weekend. I had like Halloween parties and shit, and I took all my sound stuff to my in-laws, and I didn't feel like setting it back up.
Yeah.
And then getting the kids ready for Halloween yesterday. So yesterday was Halloween, so we pushed today's episode to today, so that pushed it even further. And then this morning's morning Two Scoops show with me and my brother of the System is Down podcast, he texted me last night and he's like, dude, I haven't slept in like 4 days. I'm going to pass. I'm just like, dude, I haven't podcasted in like a week and a half, it seems like. So we're here, though. We are here, and we have a fun one for you.
Yes.
We're talking about Paul Pelosi getting hammered. And it can be as fun as it sounds or as not as fun as it sounds. We're gonna decide for ourselves how fun it gets.
Because he might not have just got hammered. He may have got nailed.
He may have got hammered and nailed and drilled and all the tools. I don't know. There's a lot of really weird stuff surrounding this story. And obviously, we're going to talk about all of it, of course. And as we know, Elon Musk took over Twitter, so we at least won't get banned from that, hopefully.
Yeah.
We'll find out, I guess. But we're going to get right into that. We're going to talk about that story, about the weird nudist man that attacked the nudist MAGA lefty right-wing conspiracy theorist, homeless.
Theoretically.
Yeah.
Theoretically.
Homeless, hemp jewelry maker attacker.
Yes.
I mean, there's so much to this story to even cover. And at first I was just like, well, this is something we should bring up like on the weekend wrap up. But the more I dug into it, I was like, this is a full freaking episode's worth of shit here. So
well, as the Pelosi family, only they can do, right? I mean, that they always take it up to the next notch of weirdness. And her husband is no different.
No, her husband's been in the news recently before too.
Right.
And it always seems to be, shockingly, when Nancy's out of town, which makes this even fishier to me. It's like when Nancy goes away, the fun begins, apparently.
Right.
So, and he always in the last few times he's ended up in the news, it's been when Nancy is conveniently out of town. So we'll get more into all this crazy shit here after this pre-show. Before we do, obviously, we got to get into the things that we are obligated to talk about, like our sponsors, even though we want to talk about them because they're an amazing coffee sponsor. Run Your Mouth Coffee supports our right to make fun of an elderly man that got attacked in his home. So we choose to support them because they support our rights of free speech and being able to talk about the weird shit like that. Go to rymcoffee.com. They also make great coffee, by the way. Not only do they support your awesome abilities to be able to run your mouth, they also make delicious coffee. rymcoffee.com. Tell them we sent you using the promo code Break the Bell. You'll get 10% off your purchase plus free shipping. And that's awesome. You'll get delicious coffee shipped straight to your door. And like Paul Pelosi, you don't even have to have pants on at the time that is delivered. So be like Paul Pelosi. Don't wear pants. Order delicious coffee. And support small businesses that support your rights, like free speech, such as Run Your Mouth Coffee. That's rymcoffee.com. Make sure you check us out all over the social medias. We are found all over the main ones at the handle at Break the Bell Pod. That's on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And you can find us on some of the small ones floating around. We don't spend as much time there, but if you spend time there, let us know and we will spend more time there. You can also find our Facebook forum, which is the Breaking the Bell forum. There you go. I had to stop and think for a second, which is where we get into a little bit deeper discussions than are allowed on just like a normal page. It's a discussion forum. Otherwise, I hang out on Twitter a lot. Bill hangs out more on Instagram a lot. So you'll find us everywhere at Break the Bell Pod is our handle on those. Check out our amazing merchandise at our merch store, which is at breakthebell.bigcartel.com. And you can find links to all the shit I'm talking about at our website, breakthebellpod.com. You'll find awesome merch like our We Will Not Eat Your Bugs t-shirt, our We Are Not Your Pawn shirt, our logo shirts. We've got the famous Is This Shirt Even Real shirt, which we still haven't decided if it's actually a real shirt. So somebody needs to order that and let us know for us.
Absolutely.
You find all that awesome merch at breakthebell.bigcartel.com. Support us a little more if you want than just listening to us, which ideally is the main thing we want.
That's perfect.
But if you want to help us a little more, go to the merch stores, go to our social medias, join our Patreon membership at patreon.com/break the bell. I haven't said that one in a while. Man, it's been a long time. It's been a long week since we podcasted. So I think we should just get right into this before I butcher it.
Before we do, I want to give a shout out to, and if Bud Light was still doing their Great American Heroes shout out, this is a shout out to a new trend I've noticed while taking the kids trick-or-treating,
which is
to adults who give adult beverages to the parents that take their kids around.
Because we did it. This was the first year we didn't take our kids around.
Oh,
they
okay.
walked around with friends. And so we actually handed out candy for the first time this year.
Oh, nice.
And we're sitting there, and my wife was like, I wish we had beer to hand out to the dads. I was like, that would be amazing. They would love you for it too.
Yeah.
So
I had a nice little buzz going last night.
Good. Maybe get some like spiked apple cider.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There was a guy he had made some homemade apple cider. I don't know what was in it, but man, that was really good. But
like,
yes.
I don't know what's this. And
I told Jen, I said, when our kids are done going around with this, I want to be that guy with the fire pit that gives adult beverages. So
I will. Next year, I told my wife, I was like, since we don't walk around anymore, next year we're setting up the yard way better than this year, and we're giving out cool shit because I want to be that house and adult beverages as well.
Absolutely.
So, on that note, are you ready to get into this?
Yes,
this
let's
show?
do it.
Let's get into the show, and we're going to talk about Paul Pelosi
giving out more than adult beverages.
More than adult beverages. Paul Pelosi getting hammered. Let's do it.
What did you say?
You talking to me?
What the heck are you talking about?
What did you say?
What did you say?
What did you say?
Are you talking to me?
Are you talking to me? Are you talking to me?
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
What are you saying?
What did you say?
Are you talking to me?
Well, maybe he was talking to me.
What did you say?
Talk to me.
What in heaven's name are you talking about?
Talk to me, baby.
Did you just say?
What did you say?
You listen to me. You're talking to me.
Are you talking to me?
What the hell are you talking about? Who are you talking to?
All right. We're back. Bill, did you hear about this too much before I asked you if you heard about this last night?
No, not a lot. I didn't dig into it. I had heard that he got attacked, and I just thought he probably deserved it. So I just kind of let it go, you know.
Did you think that when Rand Paul got attacked?
No. Totally different situation.
Totally different story there.
Yeah.
And it's weird the handling of this is so much different than that too. Like,
oh yeah.
Let me see if I had the there was a person on Twitter. I mean, the hypocrisy comes out depending on which side is on, and it's both sides.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter which side, because this person at Males Spicy with 2 Y's said back in March of this year, said, anyone else think it's a miracle that Rand Paul only had 1 ass whooping?
Right.
Well, then, as of like 3 days ago, the same person, Mayo is Spicy, says the GOP is cracking jokes about the assassination attempt and attempted murder on Nancy Pelosi and her husband. Sick bastards. It's like you gotta go back and delete your old tweets before you come out and post shit like that. It's like,
otherwise you
were cracking jokes not even 8 months ago.
Much.
Yeah, exactly. And that's just how it is. It's
Mayo
like,
is Spicy. That sounds like someone that carries hot sauce in their purse. Is that Hillary?
It's probably Hillary's side account, but it looks a little bit better looking than Hillary. But she's probably
she's
found some
catfishing.
stock photo or something. Yeah, there you go. She's gross. Oh, if you ever get catfished by Hillary, just kill yourself.
Just end it.
Yes, just kill yourself. So this is kind of. I'm surprised you didn't hear. You haven't hung out on Twitter enough.
No,
that's the problem.
Yeah.
Because this is the biggest news on Twitter, and the jokes and the rumors, and it's insanity, like utter insanity.
Well,
like it started out as, oh, this guy got attacked by this guy in his home. It's like, oh, okay, but then it was just like off to the races with all the rumors and the theories. And the thing is, like most conspiracy theories, when you leave plot holes, people are going to fill in the blanks, and usually people have more creative imagination than what you are leaving out with the plot holes. So if you don't want the crazies running rampant with this, tell us straight up what the fuck happened.
Right.
And the only reason I can think, because I'm conspiracy minded and I like to fill in the holes with my imagination, the only reason I can think why they wouldn't give out all the information is because there's something juicy there that they're trying to cover up. It's Nancy Pelosi's husband.
Yeah.
If there's anything other than some deranged guy hit him with a hammer, if there's anything else in there, something fishy was going on. I mean, election cycle is coming up.
Absolutely.
This is going to be big news, and it doesn't matter. It's already big news. So, Paul Pelosi. What we're talking about, if you're not aware, if you missed the pre-show, we're talking about Paul Pelosi getting hammered last week.
Literally.
Interestingly, we're not talking about his drunk driving incident from a month ago or 2 months ago. I mean, Paul Pelosi has a reputation the last few months of getting hammered when Nancy's gone, but this time's a little bit different. Did you know about his drunk driving?
Not until I looked into him today.
Yeah, I didn't either. I'm just like, how did we miss this?
Yeah.
And it was like, the reports were that he was like, he got in a car accident and he was arrested because he had an alcoholic beverage in his system, is what it said, and a drug. And they of course don't specify what the drug was, but they're like, the combo of the two, blah blah blah, interacted and put him over his limit. It's like he was only at a 0.085, which is just barely above legal limit, but still, it's like, I like how they're trying to sugarcoat the fact that if it was like Donald Trump, they'd be like,
oh my gosh, yeah.
Raging alcoholic Donald Trump gets in a...
This is way too dangerous. He needs to be put away.
Did you hear that he was sentenced to only 5 days in jail?
No, I didn't.
Which, I mean, that's reasonable for first time. Is this his first time, though?
Exactly.
I mean, he's like 85 years old.
Yeah, I doubt it.
5 days. He had already served 2, so that knocks 2 off. He got 2 knocked off for good behavior. How do you get good
in
behavior?
5 days? Yeah, right.
In the 2 days that you were there, you get 2, and then the last one, he basically had to like do court orders, like he had to work for the court or something like that. He probably just had to file a few papers. So he spent those 2 days in jail. Jack Skellington is here. Hello, Jack. He says, "Fuck him both. Not worth the time of either of you, fine gentlemen. One word, archaics." I don't know what that means, but it's not. I'm just here to basically say fuck them both, Jack. The reason why I'm taking the time here is because it's hilarious.
Yes.
And we want to spread more of the fake news and false information that's floating around out there. We're not here to side with them or back them up or even like go along with the story. We're here to talk about the rest of the story that's like all of a sudden disappeared from the internet,
right?
Except Twitter, because Twitter is an amazing machine that, if nothing better, it at least keeps the rumors alive when the rest of Google and the internet like deletes it. Twitter will keep it alive for you, because you'd be amazed of how many people get screenshots like early on and things. And I need to start doing that. It's like
people are doing it all the time now.
It's like I got the screenshot from the very first report. It's just like, dude, you were on top of that shit, because I didn't even hear about it till a couple days after the fact. So, where was I? Besides Paul Pelosi getting hammered.
Yes.
Oh, we were talking about his drunk driving.
DWI.
Yeah, and so the 2 days up to his court hearing that he sat, probably not even in a jail cell.
No.
He probably got like a side office or something. Like
hanging out in the judge's chambers.
And again, like I said, that time Nancy Pelosi was conveniently out of town, and old Paul is out getting drunk and doing a drug and out cruising the town. Supposedly there was an unknown male passenger in his car at the time, and that's disappeared from the internet too, but that's supposedly out there. So I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if any of this is true, but we still get to talk about it, because as far as I checked, it's a free country and it's my show and we can talk about it. So what do you know so far? Just of the what happened, the event that happened. Don't give me all the like rumors, just the event.
What I know of the event, police were called. Paul was wrestling with the guy. They're wrestling over a hammer. The guy got the hammer away from him, smacked him upside the head. Police subdued the guy. And they were both in their, original reports were there in their underwear. The other one, then they came out and said that the guy was like all dressed in black or something like that. And
I didn't read that one. I've heard underwear. I've heard no, he was in shorts, and now apparently no, he was all in black. Which was it, internet? You can't say all the above.
Yeah.
You can't just change. That's not a detail that you can just change.
Yeah. Rumor of a third guy. Then they came out and said that this other guy was apparently a conspiracy theorist, had a bunch of blogs, but then they said, but the blogs were just created. But then there were others that said, no, he'd been conspiracy theorist for a while, and that this was a violent attack. But
from the right wing nut job of this guy.
But then I heard that it could be a false flag. So
I don't know about a false flag. I think it's they took advantage of an existing situation and covered it up and turned it into a false. I don't think it was like hey, send this guy in and make him. I mean, maybe the guy does have a lot of classic case of MK Ultra almost. Just like, I mean, the guy's fucking nut job.
Yeah,
from what it sounds,
he looks like a nut job.
Yeah. So let's start with the official, like what we know. This is from CNN Politics, and it's what we know about the attack on Paul Pelosi. So, it's probably all bullshit.
Yeah, right.
All right, let me get my screen share. There it goes. So this is from today, or updated today. So it's probably been redacted and edited at least 4 or 5 times. It says the man alleged to have attacked Paul Pelosi, husband of House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, entered a not guilty plea Tuesday to all state charges during his initial appearance in San Francisco court. David De Pape, who is 42, is facing a litany of state charges, including attempted murder and assault with a deadly weapon, San Francisco District Attorney Brooke Jenkins said Monday. These charges are in addition to federal charges De Pape faces, which include assault and attempted kidnapping. De Pape waived his right to a hearing within 10 days at his arraignment Tuesday, and Judge Diane Northway set a hearing for November 4th in San Francisco Superior Court to set a date for the preliminary hearing and bail setting. No cameras were allowed in the court for the arraignment. De Pape's attorney said outside the courtroom, there's been a lot of speculation, a lot of rumor, simply based on the nature of this case. So I'm not going to add to all the speculation by talking about the facts of this case right now.
He should have.
Maybe, yeah, maybe if you know all the crazy shit's going around, and maybe be like, no, that didn't happen. This is what. I don't know. Maybe he's just
If
like,
I was his lawyer, I'd be playing it up big time. Be like, hey, there might be feelings there. There may have been a romance at some time.
I absolutely would.
Yeah.
I'd been like, dude, they met at a bar. They, I mean, they've been hooking up for years now.
Yeah, Nancy may have joined in.
Are you? I mean, yeah, we'll get into all that crazy stuff. Ew, God, I just realized what you said. Good God, man. Goes on to say, what I will say is that there's been a lot of speculation regarding Mr. DePappy's vulnerability to misinformation, and that's certainly something we're going to look into. So it sounds like his plea deal is going to be, this guy's crazy and he follows whatever story the crazy story is out there, and that's what he identifies as that day. You read a story about Zionism, he's an anti-Zionist. You read a story about I don't know, COVID, he's a COVID conspiracy theorist, and he's susceptible to misinformation, according to his lawyer. And that's highly possible, listening to the way this guy is, the way his politics have kind of been. He kind of seems like he goes with the flow, and anybody can really convince him to take whatever side they want to. Goes on to say, it appears as though this was okay. So it says, Jenkins has said that based on DePappy's statement, it appears the attack was politically motivated. So his own lawyer said that? Oh, no, Lipson was Jenkins is the attorney, district attorney. I was like, wow, his own lawyer's horrible at this.
Fucked up.
So the district attorney says it appears as though it was politically motivated based on his statements and comments that were made in that house during his encounter with Mr. Pelosi, that this was politically motivated. DePappy, according to court documents, told police he planned to hold Nancy Pelosi hostage, calling her the leader of the pack of lies promoted by the Democrats. All right, so then it talks about, because, as you mentioned, he got smacked upside the head with a hammer.
Right.
And fractured his skull, apparently. Oh, okay. And so he's in recovery now. He's doing fine, according to Cokehead Nancy. So let's go through. This is the criminal complaint. This is like the official story. The court filing related to the federal charges against DePappy revealed the most detailed account yet of the most fabricated, probably, of Paul Pelosi's 911 call while the incident was unfolding. Pelosi stated words to the effect of, there is a man in the home and that the male is going to wait for Pelosi's wife. Pelosi further conveyed that he does not know who the male is. The male said his name is David. An FBI agent said in a sworn affidavit that was unsealed Monday. Paul Pelosi called 911 at 2:23 a.m. on Friday, and police arrived at his house 8 minutes later, according to the affidavit unsealed Monday. When the doors opened, Pelosi and DePappy. Now the similarities to Pepe the Frog just is too coincidental when it comes to like ultra right wing conspiracy theories. Right. It's just like DePappy. That's what I'm going to call him. So Pelosi, and when the door was open, Pelosi and DePappy were both holding a hammer with one hand, and DePappy had his other hand holding onto Pelosi's forearm. The affidavit said. All right, so hear this out, all right?
Yeah.
According to the sworn statement by the FBI, Pelosi greeted the officers.
Yeah. What did he say? This isn't what it looks like.
So they're struggling over a hammer, which ultimately led to him being bashed in the head with. The door opens. We'll get to the door opening later. The door opens one way or another. Police go in, see them wrestling over the hammer, and the first thing he does is, according to this, greets the officers. What was that like? Like, hey guys.
Yeah, right.
Hey, hello, officer.
Gentlemen, please come in.
Can I help you? Oh, is this the entertainment you were telling me about?
Yeah.
I just think it's weird that they specify he greeted the officers. It's like, wouldn't he be like, get them the fuck off of me?
Yeah, right.
Like, That would be reasonable response.
The
to
other
me.
thing I thought was interesting is in his 911 call, he says, "Hey, there's a guy here, and I've never seen him before." Right? I mean,
I've never seen this man in my life. He is here.
Yeah,
and he's waiting for my wife.
yeah. I mean, doesn't that just seem odd? I mean, if you were to call 911, would you be like, "Yes, there's someone in my house that I've never seen them before in my life"?
No, no, that's not usually what I would say, unless they ask, "Do you know who he is?" and then be like, "I've never seen him before."
Yeah.
Maybe that's how it went.
And
But
that's possible. Yes.
it also doesn't say in the 911 call if he mentioned the guy has a fucking hammer.
Right. Right. Yeah.
This isn't looking good.
Yeah.
Unless maybe he went in and is like, "Where's your wife?" And then he like fled to the bathroom, called 911, which is supposedly what happened. Then he pulled the hammer out.
Right.
Maybe that's what happened. Who knows? There's a lot of holes, like I said here. So Pelosi greeted the officers. The officers asked them what was going on. Now, again, you go into the home of like the most famous congresswoman's wife.
Right.
Like not famous, like a good thing, like
Yeah.
most well-known, like everybody recognized that name.
Sure.
Her husband, you go into the home, he's wrestling with a guy that they just called 911 on. Door opens. Pelosi says, "Hey guys." They say, "What's going on?" Does that
That
seem
seems
like
weird. Yes.
reasonable, like
No.
interaction with what's happening?
Right.
Even if the guy, there wasn't any weapons involved, there's just a fucking weirdo in the house.
Yeah.
Is that reasonable?
No.
Like interaction?
No.
Hey guys, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And according to that FBI report, DePepe responded, "Everything's fine." And the officers then asked Pelosi and DePepe to drop the hammer. At that moment, DePepe allegedly pulled the hammer away and swung it, striking Paul Pelosi in the head. Pelosi appeared to be unconscious on the ground after the blow, the affidavit said. Again, this is just all weird. There's something freaking weird here. Maybe it's just the guy who's reporting it. The FBI agent is not good at recalling details.
Yeah, right.
This is just weird. It says DePape was prepared to detain and injure Speaker Pelosi when he entered the Pelosi residence in the early morning, the FBI agent said in the affidavit. Did he tell you that, or are you speculating here?
Right.
Because he doesn't say here. He told me this. He just says in his sworn affidavit that he was prepared to do this to Pelosi. And apparently he did come out later and say, or at some point and say, I was going to ask her to tell the truth, and whatever the truth was. And if she didn't tell the truth, I was going to break her kneecaps.
Oh, okay.
Says he had zip ties, tape, rope, and at least one hammer with him that morning. CNN previously reported that DePepe confronted Pelosi and asked where his wife was, shouting, "Where is Nancy?" The speaker was not home at the time of the attack. Now, Joe Biden obviously has come out and politicized this thing and called it right-wing extremism because he even said, he's like, just like what the January 6th rioters were yelling when they entered the House of Representatives.
Is this the big domestic terrorist event that we've been waiting for?
God, I hope so, because this one is awesome. And so, I mean, yeah, a guy did get hurt. We're laughing about this.
Yeah.
Allegedly, an elderly man did get assaulted, but
it's a far cry from the Oklahoma City bombing, right?
I'd say so. Yes. It says, according to the affidavit, DePepe stated that he was going to hold Nancy hostage and talk to her. If Nancy were to tell him the truth, he would let her go. And if she lied, he was going to break her kneecaps. He was certain that Nancy would not have told the truth. The FBI affidavit said. Yes, basically. Yeah.
Okay.
So they go on to say Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas condemned the horrific violent attack during the interview with CNN's Wolf Blitzer on Monday. There's no place for this in this country. So they instantly went towards that.
Right. Yeah. Domestic terrorism.
They stopped short. No, they stopped short of labeling it domestic terrorism because legal implications with the terms. Because there's actually a definition out there somewhere.
Oh, now there is?
It's never stopped them before.
Sure.
But for some reason, Mayorkas at this point, it's like, no, there's a legal definition, so I'm not going to quite say domestic terrorism, but it definitely was domestic terrorism. Wink, wink. On the same day that Pelosi was attacked, federal authorities warned in a joint assessment that domestic violent extremists pose a heightened threat to the 2022 midterm elections. So you think that's what this was? Right-wing extremism to influence the election? Is that what this seems like?
No, because why the hell would going after Nancy Pelosi have anything to do with influencing the election? Right? Except for in the other direction, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, look, this is what the right wing has in mind for all of us.
Yeah.
So we need to
It's
vote
going to do the
for
exact
the left.
opposite.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
a deranged right-wing extremist might not get that
Doesn't
through
this
his head.
sound like maybe something that Nancy Pelosi, when she was coked up out of her mind, came up with Paul?
Does it sound like a fabricated?
Yeah,
like
Paul, I got a great idea.
Yeah.
Now,
now we need more voters. We need to push this whole domestic terrorism. I mean, you're gonna have to take one for the team here. Right. Well, what do you mean? My name's gonna get smeared immediately. No, your head's gonna get hit with a hammer,
but just once,
just one time. But you can do that one drug this time to to make you feel a little bit better. So it goes into varied responses from the right. It says some popular Republican figures appear to make light of the attack, including Carrie Lake, the GOP nominee in Arizona's gubernatorial race. It is not impossible to protect our kids at school. They act like it is. Nancy Pelosi, well, she's got protection when she's in D.C. Apparently her house doesn't have a lot of protection, said Lake at a campaign, a Scottsdale campaign. Donald Trump Jr. says, or shared an image on social media of a hammer and a pair of underwear with words, "Got my Paul Pelosi Halloween costume ready."
I've seen that one.
Genius. Absolutely genius. Now, Donald Trump's response, it says here, still several prominent Republicans, including Mitch McConnell, have condemned the attack, though some others, including former President Donald Trump, have offered a more tepid response. That's the end. They don't say what the tepid response was. It's just that's where the article
need an
ends.
example of what a tepid response is.
He didn't condemn the attack. It was more tepid. It wasn't quite Donald Trump Jr. It wasn't quite Mitch McConnell. Just somewhere in the middle, you'll find Donald Trump. Right. But we're not going to tell you what it was.
Right. It was probably like, oh, well, that sounds pretty bad.
Well, that sucks for him.
Yeah, well, it's too bad Nancy wasn't there.
I bet he has a headache.
Right.
I don't know. But if it was worth mentioning,
it would have
been mentioned.
Exactly.
So,
they would have if it was to the level of Junior or even Elon Musk,
huge.
They would have dragged
huge.
it through the fucking
We'll get to the Elon Musk stuff because that shit's funny. So I guess let's talk a little bit about the characters involved in this whole scenario. So let's set the stage here. It's kind of like a TV sitcom. You got Paul Pelosi's living room as the sitcom stage. It's always the living room. The TV's always in the middle of the living room, which you would never find. And there's never cords on the back of the fucking TV, which always pisses me off about sitcoms. Because I can't make my cords look that nice against a wall.
You try.
I do. So let's set the sitcom stage here. You got Paul Pelosi. You've got enters stage right through a door, through a window. We're not sure. The door apparently got kicked in or smashed in. And then at some point, a window was broken outwards direction because there was glass outside the window.
Interesting.
So many interesting things here. So we got these two characters.
Do they know, is the hammer Pepe's or is it Pelosi's?
Well, they remember they had said that his bag contained zip ties, duct tape, and at least one hammer. So they're claiming it was Pepe's
gotcha.
A hammer.
Gotcha.
So we got to do some character development for a sitcom.
Yes.
Paul Pelosi, we all know who Paul Pelosi is, but we might as well just specify who he is. He's an American businessman who owns and operates Financial Leasing Service, Inc., a San Francisco-based real estate and venture capital investment and consulting firm. He was the owner of Sacramento Mountain Lions of the United Football League. He is married to Nancy Pelosi, the current Speaker of the United States House of Representatives. This is the guy that, I mean, together they're worth $114 million.
Yes, a lot of insider trading.
Yeah, because he's a trader. He's an investor, and she helps him out by making policies directly related to his investments. So it's like,
it's a nice partnership.
yeah, we're about to pass this law about these companies and these companies, and it's going to make them a boatload of money. He's like, I'm just gonna like, hey, can you get me like 5 million shares of such? And Congress, what was it, last year or the year before, came out and they're like, we got to stop the like it mega investment of Congress because it kind of seems like insider trading.
Right.
And who do you think voted against that?
The Pelosi's.
Nancy Pelosi, obviously. Why would she vote for that? She's like, you know what? You're right. This thing that's making me
that's her bread and butter.
100 millionaire.
Yeah.
We should stop that. No, she continues it because it makes them $114 million, the richest congressperson in the history of Congress. So that's who this guy is. He's 82 years old. So, I mean, I can't imagine he's doing a lot of actual physical wrestling in this whole situation.
Well,
I mean, maybe he's in good shape.
Yeah, possibly.
Depends on how much coke he's on, I guess.
Exactly.
If he got in Nancy's coke, then maybe he's super strong. He's got that super strength.
Yep.
So that's Paul Pelosi. Do you know anything else about him besides his arrest?
I don't.
I mean, obviously he likes to get a little trouble when Nancy's away. It's weird. There's not, even at this Wikipedia page, there's really not a lot about him. Because on his personal life page, there's 1957. He was in he was in a car accident. He drove a car in 1957 and got in an accident that killed his older brother. So there's that. He was acquitted of misdemeanor manslaughter in that charge. So that was in 57. Then he got married to Nancy Pelosi in 63 at the Cathedral of Mary Our Queen in Baltimore, Maryland. They have 5 children. And then it jumps all the way to May 2022 when he got arrested for a DUI.
And what's the name of his company?
That's a good question. I can't remember. Financial leasing service. That sounds very vague.
Generic, yes.
Financial leasing services. You know, we lease and finance. We finance leases and we lease finances.
And we do services.
So yeah, it goes from that one car accident in 57 to getting married to his DUI to his attack.
Yes.
That's his Wikipedia page. So very little about this man, except for these 2 events. So you probably think he's probably like clean cut or something, or he's just very covered up,
very well covered up.
Yeah, so that's more than likely the case. So don't know a whole lot more about Paul Pelosi.
Yes.
But that's character 1.
Okay.
Character 2. Who is David DePape, Paul Pelosi's alleged attacker? This is from WIONnews.com. So we got to obviously figure out who they think he is. There's his face. And have you seen the pictures? I forgot to bring it up, but he looks identical to like a videographer that was at the January 6th. Like, literally, he looks identical.
Yeah, he does.
And so it's like crisis actor maybe, or
it's funny because when I put in financial leasing services, there's an article that pops up. This is from 2007. It says Pelosi's husband prefers a low profile successful investor has taken care to avoid controversy.
Covered shit up is what it sounds like.
Exactly.
So here's character 2. The man accused of breaking into U.S. Speaker Nancy Pelosi's home in San Francisco and hitting her husband with a hammer was raised in Canada, later became a nudist activist there, and promoted far-right conspiracy theories before being connected to the attack.
According, a nudist activist, is that a thing?
Yeah, you get naked and you do activism.
Okay.
Oh, you've clearly not dug deep enough because this shit gets crazy. It says, according to his stepfather, Gene DePape, David, the 42-year-old suspect charged with attempting to kill Paul Pelosi, was born and raised in Powell River, British Columbia, but moved to California around 20 years ago to pursue a romantic relationship. Gene, his stepfather, and Mark DePape, his uncle, told CNN that he has since become distant from his family. However, news articles in San Francisco Chronicle mention Dave DePape because he shared a 3-bedroom Victorian apartment in Berkeley with Oksane Gypsy Taub. Have you heard about her?
No.
This gypsy woman who's a well-known, like she has her own Wikipedia page.
Really?
Well-known nudist activist campaigner. So he lived with her fiance, and her 3 kids, and maybe 2 of her 3 kids are actually his. So he lives with her and her fiance and her 3 kids, and 2 of those kids might be his kids. And she's a nudist gypsy, and
Activist.
he's a semi-homeless, what they call a hemp jewelry maker. Yeah, there's so much to this. At a wedding they intended to hold, so they made headlines because her and her fiance like got married nude in San Francisco. So they made the papers, and he was in the paper because he was the best man there.
Okay.
It says at a wedding they intended to hold on the steps of San Francisco City Hall, Smith and Taub had requested DePape, who is described as a hemp jewelry artisan, to be the best man. Taub was found guilty for a number of offenses. So Taub is the gypsy. So I'll just say gypsy instead of Taub, so you can keep them all straight.
Okay.
The gypsy was found guilty of a number of offenses, including attempted kidnapping and stalking last year.
Okay.
We'll get more into that one because that one's weird.
Okay.
DePape said he also went to the streets with activists who opposed a successful attempt to outlaw public nudity in San Francisco. DePape was listed years ago in voting records as a supporter of the Green Party. So we have far-right Trump MAGA guy supported the Green Party years ago.
That's
voted.
weird.
Apparently he's his circle there with Gypsy Lady and her boyfriend and their nudist kids.
Yes.
They're all pretty lefty too.
Interesting.
But he's a MAGA conspiracy Nancy Pelosi killer.
That's very bizarre.
Yeah, it adds up real quick, doesn't it? It says Gene DePape and Mark DePape claim David recently kept up a Facebook account with numerous postings filled with conspiracies. The account, which was deleted by Facebook's owner, Meta, on Friday.
Of course.
Convenient.
Right. Yeah.
So we can't verify any of this shit.
Right.
The account, which was deleted by Meta Friday, contained links to MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell's video that made the erroneous assertion that Democratic challenger Joe Biden will defeat Republican President Trump in 2020 election. He also allegedly had a blog with the domain godisloving.wordpress.com, which was also disabled Friday, so we can't verify that either,
Well,
and where he often posted rants about the ruling class. According to San Francisco police, DePape committed a targeted act on Friday when he allegedly broke. So then it just goes into the story. So the what we know section, that's all we know. There's a lot to unpack there.
yeah.
But it doesn't really say who he is.
Right.
I mean, it sounds kind of transient.
Right. Right.
He hanging out in a 3-bedroom house with a weird nudist gypsy woman.
Family.
Which he's a nudist at this point.
Okay.
So again, that kind of shows his susceptibility to
Right.
what's like surrounding him.
Yes.
Because he's like a lefty nudist, hemp jewelry making artisan,
Yes.
hanging out with these kind of hippity do gypsy
Yes.
people. And then all of a sudden he starts delving into like right-wing conspiracies. Then all of a sudden he becomes a right-wing conspiracy theorist. So it's just like that's kind of his brain is just very
Right.
pliable to the surrounding conditions or what he's putting in his head. So what else do I got on this one? Yeah, so I really found it convenient that all his blogs and
Right.
Facebook and everything is now gone, even though it was riddled with all this right-wing
I was
conspiracy
gonna say you would
nonsense.
figure if he really was a right-wing Trump MAGA supporter,
Right.
they would broadcast that shit everywhere.
Well, they kind of are. They are like
Oh,
that's,
no,
that's
but,
what
I
they're
mean,
going
his
on.
actual
Oh
ratings,
yeah,
though,
like
right?
like releasing
Yeah,
all
like
the
this
screenshots.
is shit that he's been writing right here,
Mhm.
right? And just put that out there for the world to see.
Why do you think? Like it's weird that they deleted his. I mean,
Yeah.
the Facebook account's one thing.
Yeah.
That's what they do. They're like, well, we're not going to let a terrorist.
Right.
But his just personal websites just
Yeah.
to disappear like that.
Right. Yeah.
It's a little convenient to me.
That is really bizarre.
So we're made to believe he is this diehard Trump supporting MAGA,
Yeah.
QAnon loving conspiracy theorist,
Yes.
white supremacist, obviously.
Yes. Of course.
I mean,
even though he hangs out with gypsies.
Yes. I mean, they don't say white supremacist, but if they say like MAGA,
that's what they mean.
They're implying it.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's dig a little deeper to
Yes.
this guy because, like I said, this guy in like just really weird. This post, which always is a tabloid anyway. So what? And this piece of information that to what about. He is psychotic, homeless, addict. He's the strange from gypsy pedophile. And so we got to deep dive into this because there wasn't enough character development in the last one. So we gotta really form this character. So start out Biden's response to this. He says, "This is despicable. Come on, man." He noted that the alleged attacker they chatted the same line. Where's Nancy? As the supporters of Donald Trump who stormed the U.S. Capitol. That's not like that's not a battle cry, people.
Yeah, right. Where's Nancy?
You go into Nancy's office. It's the first thing if you're looking for. The first thing you're gonna say is, "Where's Nancy?" You go into your home. If you're looking for her, you're gonna say, "Where's Nancy?" It's not like that is an extremist war chant.
Right.
Where's Nancy? Where's Nancy? It's like you're really kind of stretching this to make the connection here.
Yeah.
Well, what's the connection between them, him, and January 6th? Well, there's kind of the conspiracy theory, like Q shit. And it's like, yeah. Is there anything like directly? Well, he did say, "Where's Nancy?" And they did when went looking for it. They did say, "Where's Nancy?"
You know who also probably said, "Where's Nancy?" Who had a hammer looking to bust knees? Tanya Harding.
That is. That was a lead pipe, though.
Okay.
Come on.
Still. Cracking knees.
Yes. Yelling, "Where's Nancy?" Yes. We don't have to get into all the shit behind it, but it does talk a little bit about him because it says, starts out, it says, journalists and mass agreed with their assessment. DePape appears to have made racist and often railing posts online, noted the Associated Press in a report that encapsulated the media narrative, including some that questioned the results of the 2020 election, defended former President Donald Trump, and echoed QAnon conspiracy theories. So then the New York Post goes on to say, but his politics have little rhyme or reason. In past years, he has shared a post about Stephen Colbert's 2006 roast of President G.W. Bush at a White House Correspondents' Dinner, linked to videos of Disney films altered to make it look like the characters were swearing, and also claimed Jesus is the Antichrist. It says, not exactly a litany of right-wing tropes.
No.
So yes, he does have his right-wing conspiracy shit, but he also has this other, like, anti-George Bush shit, some anti-Disney shit,
anti-Jesus
shit. It's just like, this guy is just
all
over. He's just like shooting a shotgun at the freaking wall. And they're like, well, pick these little pieces of right-wing conspiracy stuff over here. No, the guy's just fucking nuts. Is what it's okay, here's a picture again. Says, as I discovered, DePape lived with a notorious local nudist in a Berkeley home, complete with a Black Lives Matter sign in the window and an LGBT rainbow flag, and blazoned with a marijuana symbol hanging from a tree. Sound like right-wing?
Very right-wing.
Very right-wing?
Very conservative.
Yes. A closer look reveals that the characteristics of a homeless encampment, or what Europeans call an open road scene. In the driveway, there's a broken down camper van. On the street is a yellow school bus, which neighbors said DePape occasionally stayed in. Both are filled with garbage, typical of such structures and homeless encampments. People come and go from the house and the vehicles, neighbors say, in part to partake in the use of psychedelic drug ibogaine. So it's basically like a homeless haven. Right. It's a drug haven, is what it sounds like. A hippie homeless encampment.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the one report said he's chilling in a 3-bedroom home, you know, with his gypsy and her fiance. There's this weird thing, and their children. It's just like normal guy, and this is just like this is a drug infested, like trash filled, homeless camp.
Right,
Now,
necessarily leave it Beaver.
yes, says neighbors described Pape as a homeless addict with politics that was until recently left wing, but of secondary importance to his psychotic and paranoid behavior. So yeah, he's very political. Was very left wing for a while. But none of that matters because the guy's freaking nuts. Is basically what the neighbors are saying. What I know about the family is that they're very radical activists, said one of the neighbors. A woman only gave her first name, Trish. They seem very left-winged. They're all about Black Lives Matter movement, gay pride, but they're very detached from reality. They have called the cops on several neighbors, including us, claiming that we are plotting against them. It's really weird to see that they are willing to be so aggressive towards somebody else who is also lefty. It says not all the news missed his history of drug abuse, psychosis, and homelessness. CNN reported that a woman named Laura Hayes said she worked with Pape 10 years ago making hemp bracelets. Said he had been living in a storage shed. He talked to angels, she said, and told her that there will be a hard time coming. So all the talk, first of all the talk of his attack being politically motivated, that came from the things that he said. Are we supposed to take for like true the truth, nothing but the truth from a guy that says he talks to angels? He's scared that his neighbors are out to get him, and Jesus is the Antichrist. I mean, the guy would say basically anything you fucking told him to say at this point. I mean, they could have been like, did you attack because Nancy Pelosi's a liar? And she's like, fucking yeah, she's a liar. She's a liar. Yeah. And they'd be like, oh, see, it's political. Yeah. There's another woman, Linda Schneider, told CNN in Bay Area NBC that she got to know Pape around 2014 and that he is still homeless, living in a storage unit and using hard drugs. He was likely a mindless follower or something he saw on social media, because I don't think he had the courage to be part of any political or terrorist group. His drug use began again, and he was off his rocker. She said right there, she's like, he's a mindless follower or somebody, something, whatever the current thing is. Is he a terrorist? No, because he's not a pussy too.
Yeah, he doesn't have balls.
Yeah. Said much of the rest of the media, particularly local journalists who could have interviewed his neighbors, were swept up in the narrative that Pape was more like John Wilkes Booth, the fanatical but sane assassin of Abraham Lincoln, than John Hinckley Jr., the mentally ill man who shot Ronald Reagan. Pape is much more like one of the hundreds of psychotic homeless people I've in recent years than the fanatical climate ideologues who I think about to be. So wait, which one do you think he is?
I think dude's crazy.
So you don't think he's the next John Wilkes Booth? He's out there to like assassinate Pelosi. He's got this well thought out scheme to break into Pelosi's home.
No, I don't think so. I think Paul Pelosi's probably an idiot and probably accidentally let him in the house,
or intentionally let him in the house. Or we'll get to that part. Maybe he was there for other reasons to start with, and it was like a lover's spat. I don't know. I'm not saying that's what happened, but I'm sure certainly. We'll get into that in the second half. Crazy stuff.
I think we can both agree that this guy is not a political hack.
No, he's not a political like mastermind.
Right.
Like terrorist organizer.
I need to stop Pelosi because she's going to cause us to go into World War III. Right.
I could see it more from his ex, the gypsy woman. She seems, because like I said, she's a prominent nudist in San Francisco.
And activist.
To the point where she was the one that newspaper articles were written about.
Okay.
That he happened to be in because he was the best man, because she had a naked wedding.
Right. And what was her name again?
Oxane Gypsy Taub, and I have an interesting article because I told you she got arrested
Yes.
for stalking. She was arrested actually for stalking a 14-year-old and telling him dating is not illegal as long as there's no sex. And she was also the straw that broke the camel's back is she gave him a love letter at his middle school.
Oh.
Yeah. His principal, the middle school principal, first filed a restraining order against her. That's this woman he's like hanging out with here.
Yes.
So she seems a little more of the like plotting type than this guy. I think's just following her first of all.
Wow.
And that's why he was probably the nudist.
Yes.
And then he started following like websites, and it's just freaking weird. It says Oxane Gypsy Taub is currently in prison for stalking and attempting to abduct a 14-year-old boy. It says the man accused of breaking into Pelosi's multi-million-dollar California home and attacking him with a hammer, David DePape, has been mentally ill for a long time, according to his former life partner. So he's the one that's been mentally ill for a long time. She is writing love letters to a 14-year-old. I even found from prison, she basically wrote another, like, kind of not, basically excusing her behavior, basically saying, oh, well, this, like, how can you like stop love? You know,
Right.
she wrote this big long post.
Wow.
It was basically like a love letter about her love letter about this 14-year-old. And it's just like really freaking bizarre, but he's the one that's been mentally ill for a long time. It says Tom made the comments about her ex from prison in an interview, telling the local news outlet that she met DePape about 2 decades ago when he was just 20 years old, and that they share 2 children together. So there you go.
Oh.
Taub's own criminal past demonstrates a faulty grasp on reality. She was convicted in August 2021 on 20 counts for disturbing behavior towards a 14-year-old boy, including stalking, attempted child abduction, child molestation, dissuading a witness, and other charges. Here it is right here. They only show her from the neck up because she's probably naked. So she became fixated on the boy in 2018, according to probable cause complaint obtained by Fox News Digital, and sent him dozens of emails in 2019 when the victim's family obtained a restraining order against her. It says on May 2019, Taub sent an email to the victim that said, I know that you have feelings for me. I have feelings for you too. I feel I have known you for a very long time. We came to this planet at this crucial time to help humanity survive and strive to facilitate global transformation of consciousness. My kids and I are very powerful people, and so are you. It says later that day, she wrote the victim an email about Ibo, an apparent reference to the psychedelic drug ibogaine, which she said makes you feel telepathic. A few days ago, I took a strong microdose of Ibo. I was chilling with my eyes closed. I asked the universe to show me what kind of relationship I had with you in one of the more significant past lifetimes. In response, I literally felt contractions like I was going to give birth. She's writing this to a 14-year-old. This is her love letter.
Wow.
They weren't that strong, the kind of ones you get in the beginning of labor, but the message was conveyed clearly. I was your mother.
What? Holy shit.
This is the attacker's ex-lover, ex-life partner is what she calls herself.
Okay.
But she claims he's the one that's been mentally ill for a long time.
No, I think.
Do you see how maybe a guy like him, susceptible guy like him, could fall for a very seemingly manipulative person like her?
And she's a 9/11 truther.
Really?
Yes, apparently she used to host a cable access show trying to reveal the truth about 9/11.
Interesting.
Yes.
So maybe she's the one that got him into the crazy conspiracy theories.
That's my thought.
So maybe they should be investigating more her, not looking into him, because she's clearly not like a right-wing extremist.
Yeah.
She's just like her own level of
Yeah.
crazy.
She doesn't go either way.
No, yeah, she's just on her own, off on her own world. So you think maybe hearing the way she is with that 14-year-old, maybe she manipulated his situation and how he was and his nudist activism.
Yeah, because there's no way in hell this guy is like some kind of mental gymnast.
Mm-mm.
I think my cat could probably manipulate this guy.
Yeah, but listening to like her emails,
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff,
I mean,
she's
she
very
was-
manipulative.
Yes, and she was hitting this 14-year-old hard.
Mhm.
You know,
Says on June 6th, school officials reported that the gypsy had continuously been trying to contact the boy at school. In one letter that was intercepted by school officials, Taub appeared to try to convince the victim that age of consent laws wouldn't prevent them from dating. She says, as far as dating goes, for instance, the law makes it clear that dating is not illegal as long as there's no sexual intercourse. I know you like me a lot. DePape and Taub, who were born in Moscow, or she was born in Moscow,
Yeah.
Russia, made news in Berkeley for their nude protests over the. Yeah, we talked about all that
Right.
stuff. It says in a 2013 article, the San Francisco Chronicle described DePape as a father figure in their Berkeley home who served as a best man at Taub's wedding that year to another nudist who was half her age. She likes him young, it sounds like, first
Yeah.
of all. Yeah, that's a lot of it does talk about her uncensored 9/11
yeah,
public access TV show. So a lot of shit about her.
Right.
Probably more shit about her than there is about him.
yeah, but like,
but the
you
focus
said,
is on him.
the focus is on him. But I could definitely see how he is a pawn of her.
Oh yeah. But do you think she no, she's been in prison, I
Yeah,
guess.
she's
so.
been, but still, I mean, she could still talk to him
Do
through
you think she would
correspondence.
send him after Nancy Pelosi?
No, I don't think so.
No.
Unless for some reason he thought maybe he thought the Pelosi's were somehow responsible for her being in jail.
I mean, possible, or for 9/11, or
Right.
for
Any number of
COVID,
things.
or for all
Right.
the theories. I mean, yeah, he says she's the leader of the pack of lies. So I
Yeah.
mean, that could go. I mean, that could go anywhere. Really.
Exactly,
It
yeah.
doesn't just have to be right wing
Yeah.
against left wing. That could literally go anywhere. I'm
Yeah.
not right wing, and I think she's the pack of
Oh, hell yeah.
the leader of the pack of
Yeah.
lies, or not necessarily the leader, but she's up there on top.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, it doesn't sound like it sounds more like some MK Ultra shit, like I was saying.
Right.
This guy's on
medication.
very susceptible, very
Yes.
mentally susceptible. I mean,
Yeah.
this could have had nothing to do with politics, and they could have just turned around and like flipped a switch and convinced him that this had to
Yeah.
do with politics. He seems
Yeah.
very susceptible to that kind of manipulation. That if he's not an MK Ultra suspect, he very well could be now, because they're like, wow, this guy is really
Yes.
susceptible. I
Yeah.
have never like the former Nazi scientists come in there like, we have never seen anybody with such a I can't do a German accent tonight, but never seen anybody with such a pliable mind. Man, this guy's our guy.
Yeah. Right.
We found the diamond in the rough.
He will do anything.
Man, you thought Manchurian what
Candidate.
candidate there,
Yeah.
you thought that guy was bad. this guy, man, this guy's he's gonna kill some world leaders for
Yeah,
sure.
Just put him out there.
Just wait. We
Just
got
give
big
him a
plans
hammer
for
and
him.
a pair of boxers, and it's on.
Yes, we got big plans for this guy.
Huh.
So I want to get back to the incident and the strangeness surrounding it, but I think we should probably go to break first, because
It's about to go off the rails.
it's about to get freaking weird, weirder than it is. So the stage is set. We know the characters. We
Yes.
got kind of boring, ultra rich
Paul
inside
Pelosi.
trader Paul Pelosi.
But at the same time, Paul Pelosi just seems a little too safe.
Well, that's right.
Right?
He's too boring.
Yeah, right.
For
Nobody
being
is
Nancy
that boring.
For being Nancy Pelosi's husband, he's a
Exactly.
little too boring.
Yes.
According to reports, he likes to have a little bit of fun when Nancy's away. But how
Exactly.
much fun are we
Yes.
talking here? So, then on the other side, we got crazy MK Ultra type susceptibility,
David
mental
DePape.
David DePape, who has a former relationship with a nudist,
Yes.
pedophile gypsy. I mean, you got this uber boring character, and you
Yes.
got this crazy interesting character.
Yeah.
It's the perfect sitcom, really.
Yeah, it is. It's like The Odd Couple.
Yes. It's like you throw these two people. Do you remember the original? I don't know if the new ones are like this, but the original what was it? Survival something. because it had like the really conservative, like ex-military guy and then the hippity dippity.
Oh, yeah.
What was that called?
Oh gosh,
I don't remember, but it's that
Yeah.
survivalist
I
show.
know what you're talking about.
Dual Survivor.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, so you pair it
Yeah.
up, super like military,
Yeah.
conservative, like get 'em type
Right.
guy with like not wearing
Walking
shoes,
around in
walking
his
around.
loincloth
Yes.
and a stick. Yes.
Yeah, that's what this sounds like, but on steroids. Perfect movie or reality show, one of the two. We're going to get more into that when we come back. We're going to take a couple minutes to, I don't know, relax our brains a little before we get into the crazy, weird shit. And who knows where the possibilities go. And we're going to try to talk about all of them. So strap in. We'll be right back in just a couple minutes.
Have you ever thought that maybe voting, maybe all this politics constantly surrounding you is not the way to achieve freedom in your life? Hi, I'm Remso W. Martinez, and I ask myself the same question. That's why I'm on a journey to find true freedom in my lifetime. From learning about financial independence, to new ways to develop rugged individualism, to amazing guests living strange, crazy, amazing lifestyles that you've only thought might be real, but actually are. Go ahead and check out my new show, On the Run with Remso W. Martinez at the We Are Libertarians Network. You can find On the Run with Remso W. Martinez on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play. You know how the internet works. Come on down and let's discover how to achieve real freedom in your life together.
Hey everybody, I just want to take this time to give a big shout out to the very first sponsor of the Break the Bell podcast. That is Goulash Media. They can be found at goulashmedia.net. Goulash Media specializes in graphic design, web design, audio recordings, video work, wedding videos, music videos, even political campaign videos. Goulash Media caters to the little guy with the big vision. You can check them out at goulashmedia.net. That's GOULASH media.net.
Time for you. You've got too much on your mind to be so conscious and not just believing every sorry thrown away. And it's about time we address the situation and begin to get back to you. We hold the candle like vigil for your self-respect. Reputation destroyed by what you can expect to be. Faceless in between. Because I know you can handle it. To face the truth of the matter, it's still so much better to leave the light and drag it to your grave. Because you see what to make of this. How you can turn your own tables and work this. And take advantage of your failure like you planned to anyway. And it's about time we address the situation and begin to get back to you. We hope that you'll like take you for your self-respect. Reputation destroyed by what you can expect to be. The faceless in between. You're still alive, but you've been dead inside for a long time. And I understand why. But you did this to yourself. You did this to them. You don't even remember the name. Why should anybody remember you? Why should anyone give you another shot? You know the wrong. You know you deserve to be forgotten. Never everything always discussed. The moments you feel through all the years of life. All this effort to cover up nothing you've done. We already know. We already see. Wake up and be better before nothing's about time. We address the situation and begin to get back to you. We hold the candle like vigil for your self-respect. Reputation destroyed by what you can expect to be. The for you. You've got too much on your mind to be so conscious and not just believing every sorry thrown away. And it's about time we address the situation and begin to get back to you. We hold the candle like vigil for your self-respect. Reputation destroyed by what you can expect to be. The faceless in between. Because I know you can handle it. To face the truth of the matter, it's still so much better to leave the light and drag it to your grave. Because you see what to make of this. How you can turn your own tables and work this. And take advantage of your failure like you planned to anyway. And it's about time we address the situation and begin to get back to you. We hold the candle like vigil for your self-respect. Reputation destroyed by what you can expect to be. The faceless in between. You're still alive, but you've been dead inside for a long time. And I understand why, but you did this to yourself. You did this to yourself. You don't even remember the name. Why should anybody remember you? Why should anyone give you another shot? You know the wrong. You know you deserve to be forgotten. Now you're everything you always disguise. You always reveal the motives of lies. All this effort to cover up what you've done. We already know. We already know. Wake up and be better before that. It's about time we address the situation and begin to get back to you. We will take your life, take you for your self-respect. Reputation destroyed by what you can expect to be. The faceless in between. I know it's not a good time for you. You've too much on your mind to be so conscious and not just believing every sorry thrown away.
All right, we are back.
Yes. So I found a clip from an interview with Gypsy Top.
Yeah?
Today actually.
Just now, probably.
Yeah, she called into a news station.
Oh, the interview was today.
Yeah. And so,
So she uses her phone privilege from prison to call into news stations.
Yes, apparently.
I want to get
Yes.
famous again.
And so, so she called in and she talked about how they were life partners, raised children, long-time relationship, and she says he is mentally ill and has been mentally ill for a very long time. And then she goes on to say, she met him more than 20 years ago. They raised 2 sons and a daughter until about 7 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
She said he disappeared for a full year and then showed up out of nowhere. Says he came back in very bad shape.
Well, that's probably when he was introduced to MK Ultra.
Right.
He's probably in a CIA camp somewhere.
She said he thought he was Jesus.
There you go.
He was constantly paranoid, thinking people were after him.
As do most people that get MK Ultra.
And it took a good year or 2 for him to get back to being halfway normal.
Yeah. What's her definition?
I know.
Her definition of halfway normal. Let's hear that.
And so the reporter says, did he ever show any aggression towards politician? Where is his political beliefs? And she goes, well, when I met him, he was only 20 years old and he didn't have any experience in politics. He is very much in alignment with my views, and I've always been very progressive. I absolutely admire Nancy Pelosi. So then she
See, that's the weird part. Like,
Yeah.
he's all into like what she's into,
Right.
and the nudity and the freaking Black
Yeah.
Lives Matter and the gay pride and all this stuff. And she's a supporter of Nancy Pelosi, but we're supposed to believe he's this right-wing MAGA guy that wants to kill Nancy
right.
Pelosi.
So then she hangs up, and then she makes a point to call back to the news
She's like,
studio.
wait, I forgot something.
And she goes, I would like to express my deepest apology to Nancy Pelosi and her husband for the terrible thing that has happened.
Thank you, Gypsy Tom. Thank you. I'm sure that was heartfelt by
Right?
Nancy Pelosi.
I know. I'm
She'll
sure
probably,
Nancy really appreciated that.
maybe she'll be invited to the Pelosi's house for a special
Right?
night sometime. I mean, she's already naked.
Right. Yeah, just bring the hammer.
How much is that hammer going to be worth?
Yeah, right.
Because I know, did you end up watching the Jeffrey Dahmer series?
No.
Well, like, there's this, like, rich guy that bought all, because they were trying to auction off all his stuff,
Yeah.
including, I think, his chainsaw or something. It's just weird that they were auctioning the shit off.
Yeah, right.
This one rich guy bought all the stuff and just like buried it in a landfill. It's like, no, but this shouldn't be like
Yeah.
memorabilia. But
Right.
imagine how much the Paul Pelosi hammer is going to be worth if it gets auctioned off.
Yeah, right.
So weird, strange stuff there. Let's get back to the incident though, because again, really, really bizarre.
Very.
Okay, so we got the stage set, like I said.
Yes. We got our players.
Pelosi is at home.
Yes.
In underwear, not in underwear, we're not sure. But originally they said Paul Pelosi
I mean,
was in his underwear.
Let's be honest. His wife was out of town. He was in his underwear.
I mean, they're lucky he was in underwear.
Exactly.
It's like-
Exactly.
I'm surprised he was in his underwear. So, according to the original Politico article, so the police show, we already discussed how bizarre, how
Right.
kind of weird it was.
Yeah.
Police shows up.
Hey, guys.
Door gets answered. He greets the officers.
Yeah.
They say, "What's going on, guys?" And DePape's like, "Nothing." And then he takes a hammer and
Right.
strikes Mr. Pelosi. A little weird.
Yeah.
So originally, Politico stated this: David DePape forced his way into the home through a back entrance. Scott said, officers arrived at the house, knocked on the door, and were let inside by an unknown person. They discovered DePape and Pelosi struggling for a hammer, and after they instructed them to drop the weapon, Scott said DePape took the hammer and violently attacked Pelosi.
Okay.
So this is Politico. This isn't like some of the other crazy articles I'm going to get into, obviously, later, but this is Politico and their first thing.
Right.
I mean,
And
maybe
they lean left.
yeah, maybe.
Right.
I mean, maybe they got the story wrong before they reported it. But somebody fucking opened the
Right.
door. Who opened the door? And if there was an unknown person, who is this person? And why
Right.
was he just standing there watching this and open the door? It's like,
Right.
oh, shit, the police are here, guys.
Yeah, right. Oh, hi.
It's so third party, who knows who it is,
Yeah.
opens the door, probably the manservant or something.
Yes.
He's like, God, thank God you're here. This shit was about to get weird.
Yeah.
And they always invite me to join. So he lets the police in. The police come inside and witness the struggle.
Right.
And all that, nothing's really changed there. There's the
Right.
struggle. Since then, that has been found to be wrong.
Deleted. Right.
Deleted
There was not
from-
a third person.
Deleted from the annals of history. There's no longer a third person.
Gotcha.
So this is the current story as is described in the LA Times. Let me zoom in. I just screenshot it because I just need this part.
Sure.
It's from, I thought it was LA Times. Yeah, LATimes.com. It says, how did the attack occur? A San Francisco police officer arrived at the house at 2:31 and knocked on the front door, according to the complaint. Now, there's not a third party that opened the
Right.
door. DePape told police that he and Paul Pelosi had gone downstairs so they're taking DePape's word for how the events
In this
unfolded.
one, yes.
DePape told police he and Pelosi had gone downstairs to the front door, and Paul Pelosi opened the door for the police.
Huh.
DePape also said Paul grabbed the hammer in DePape's hand, to which DePape responded he wasn't going to surrender and would go through Paul Pelosi. So now the story is, I think this is even more bizarre than a third party
Well, yeah,
opening
because
the door.
they come downstairs together.
He
and
opens
open
the door and then turns back around, because this article went on to say when the door opened, they saw the two struggling with the hammer. So
Right.
did he stop struggling, open the door, go back to struggle? Because that's what DePape makes it sound like.
Right.
It's like Paul opened the door, then grabbed the hammer, and then there was the struggle for the hammer.
Right.
If Paul Pelosi, again, was really that afraid for his life that he called 911,
Right.
when he opened the door for the police, you'd think he'd just run the fuck out. Underwear, naked, who cares?
right.
It's like, get me the fuck out of here. But no, he instead opens the door, turns around, grabs the hammer, and continues to struggle with
Right.
it.
Yeah.
I can't make this scenario make sense in my head.
Right.
Even as a sitcom, I would see that and be like, that just didn't add up.
Yeah. Well,
that was, I mean, it's like they're trying to, it's just filler space. They're like, it's like when they're writing the sitcom
yeah.
or the whatever, the movie. It's like, they're like, well, somebody had to open the door. Well, who's going to open the door? What if we have Paul open the door?
Right.
And they're like, well, but in the
And if
next
they're
scene,
struggling, we
in the
should have a
next
third
scene,
guy.
in the next scene, they're struggling for the hammer. Well, what if he opens the door, greets the officer, then turns around and starts struggling? And they're like, okay, that's how we're gonna do it. It's like the bridge, how they like make a messy bridge to get from scene one to scene two. That's what it sounds like here.
The Politico article sounds more reasonable.
Yes.
Right? Like
sounds
someone
less
else
made up.
opened the door
Mhm.
while they were struggling. Whereas this one is very odd because again, it sounds like they came downstairs together.
But imagine we're like around the freaking round table writing
Yeah,
the script
right.
out.
Oh,
and
no,
they're
yeah,
like, well,
yeah.
how'd the door get open? They're like, well, a third party obviously has to, because they're struggling over the hammer.
Right.
And then they're like,
well, who's the
well,
third
who's
party?
the third party? And they're like,
Oh,
shit.
Yeah. We'll just have them
Yeah.
both go down together and open it.
That's
right?
exactly what happens here.
Yeah.
Politico says third party opens door, and they're like, well, who's the third party? And they're like, wait, no,
Yeah.
Paul Pelosi opened the door and then turned around with it. No.
Yeah.
What the
Right.
fuck is going on here?
Yeah. This LA Times article is very confusing. It just doesn't make sense at all.
No, it doesn't. It's like, again, it's like, first of all, why are we taking the word of the nut job?
Right.
that
Yeah.
everybody has said as a
the
nut
guy who
job?
thought he was Jesus, right?
As this is the eyewitness, is the
Yeah.
guy, the nut job. Well, obviously, this is what happened
Yeah.
because he is the one that
Yeah.
said this is how it happened.
But it
he's
specifically
crazy.
says that they had gone downstairs to the front door and Paul Pelosi opened the door for the police.
Mhm.
Then Pepe also said, now Pepe couldn't have said that, well, of course we came downstairs and opened the door.
Mhm.
But Pepe then said, well, then Paul grabbed the hammer from my hand and then we responded by fighting over the hammer.
Yes.
And I said, I'm not going to surrender. I'm going through you, Paul Pelosi.
Yes. Yeah, that's the believable story from the psychotic guy. Yes, that's whose word we're basing this off of, and
Yes.
that's how this all transpired, obviously. So back to the rumors and stuff.
Yes.
The original rumor that came out, besides the fact that there's the third person that we're not supposed to
Not
believe
there
now
anymore. Yes.
but there's also the original rumor that they were both in their underwear. That was the first story. It's like they're both in their underwear wrestling over hammer. Then it turned into, no, Paul wasn't in his underwear. DePape was in his underwear and Paul was dressed and they were struggling over hammer.
Also odd.
The most recent I've heard is neither were in their underwear. He was in shorts, but you're saying now the man was dressed and
that
in
was
black.
that was one of the articles I read. I think
Unless that was because they said eyewitnesses had seen him on the street
Right.
beforehand. Maybe it came in dressed in black and then stripped down to his shorts or underwear.
that's possible.
That
yes.
seems probably more likely. So what kind of kinky shit was going on is the question. Let's get into the best kinky rumor shit because, like I said, these articles are not verifiable, but they are fucking hilarious. First of all, we got this Elon Musk post. I think you had mentioned it in the first half. So Hillary Clinton had come out and basically said, like, this tragedy, like right-wing extremists, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, all the talking points that Hillary Clinton has to hit. So Elon Musk's response on Twitter publicly was, there's a tiny possibility there might be more to this story that than meets the eye. And he linked to this next article I'm going to read that says, "The awful truth. Paul Pelosi was drunk again and in a dispute with a male prostitute early Friday morning," is the article.
Male prostitute?
This is the article that he linked to. Paul Pelosi was drunk again and in a dispute with a male prostitute early Friday morning. So this is where, again, the plot holes get filled in by the crazy stuff. And this story is so much more, probably more believable than the official in the first place, because it makes a whole lot more sense.
Yeah.
Like, you can put these crazy dots together and make a story.
Right.
You can't with the official narrative.
Right,
It's
yeah.
just, like us, we're like, wait, that doesn't add up. So should we read this? Is it worth reading and risking
absolutely.
getting
Yes.
having PayPal charge us $2,500 for misinformation? I don't know what this is, but I'm going to click it to make that go away. I don't know what I just agreed to. It was in German.
$2,500.
It was in German. So here we go. Strap in, because this one's fun. It says, Paul Pelosi stated he doesn't know who the male is, but he advised that his name is David and he is a friend. Yeah, right. I don't know that he said he's a friend. Some people are saying that he said he's a friend, but I don't know.
I'm sure he thought he was a friend.
All right, so here we go. As San Francisco's gay bars close at 2 a.m., two gay men met in a bar and went home together. Happens all the time, except one of those two men was married to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Again, I'm not saying this is what happened. I am simply reading an article for entertainment purposes.
Yes.
Just imagine these are fictional characters, because they are anyway. I might disappear for telling you the truth. If I do, you'll all know why, but here's what really happened this morning in San Francisco. According to a San Francisco police, David DePape told Paul Pelosi he would wait in the home for Nancy. Reporting party stated there's a male in the home and that he's going to wait for his wife. Reporting party stated he doesn't know who the male is, but he advised his name is David and he is a friend. He probably said that to keep the guy from killing.
Right.
It's been rumored for years in San Francisco that Paul Pelosi is gay. I did not know this.
I did not know that either.
I guess we're not up to date on our San Francisco rumors.
Again, it's well covered.
I mean, maybe that's why he's in San Francisco.
Right.
David DePape is said to be a Castro nudist. The lunatic who allegedly assaulted Paul Pelosi is a Berkeley resident and a former Castro nudist protester and hemp jewelry maker. Sounds totally MAGA Republican to me. So, you want to know what a Castro nudist is?
Absolutely, I do.
According to this article, again.
Okay.
So there's this theory, as expressed to me by a source. Castro nudists are a group of really radical gay male prostitutes that parade around naked with cock rings. I mean, it wasn't bizarre enough in the first half, so we gotta go full on bizarre in the second half.
Yep, we blew it. We blew the top there.
First of all, police did not come in response to an alarm. They came in response to a wellness check. So somebody called them to check on Pelosi. So it sounds like what they're saying is there was a lot of ruckus going on in this house, and the neighbor's like, you should probably go check on this. I don't know what's going on. And like, please go. And they knock on the door, and third party opens the door and it's like, hey, the entertainment's here. And then they're like, and Paul Pelosi's like, hey, what's up, guys? And they're like,
oh, wait,
what's going on? Those aren't assless chaps. You're real police. That's what it sounds like.
Yes.
That story is what this sounds like, according to this.
So you're saying that maybe was not a hammer that they were fighting over.
Maybe a hammer-shaped dildo.
Yes.
When he didn't answer the phone, the cops came inside. When San Francisco police arrived, Pelosi was with the suspect, both men in their underwear. I have 3 stories that said it, and then they were forced to do a retraction, but I have the originals, and the British papers still say it. Except BBC, because BBC's stupid.
Right.
Pelosi owned the hammer, not DePape, or the male prostitute was doing something he didn't like. So he's like, you want to know where I'm going to stick this hammer? And Paul's like, don't you do that.
Yeah.
Not again. Not, I can't
Nope.
handle it a third time. And then there was the press conference when they didn't know the mic was on. During that, a reporter confirmed on a hot mic, apparently, according to this guy, that the suspect was a gay Castro nudist, but they told him he couldn't use it. Now tell me something. These people are worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Nancy is third in line to presidency. You don't think they have the most amazing security? And by the way, when Pelosi was in that drunk driving accident, he had a young man with him, and that was covered up. So we don't know who that guy was, too.
That, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was saying at the beginning. It's like, it's just weird. Nancy goes out of town. We got this.
I was going to say, if you look at pictures of Pelosi's house, she's got a huge like wall around her house.
Yeah, how did this guy get there?
Exactly.
How do they not have like security out the ass?
Right, absolutely.
Like not only guards, but a security system, cameras, probably like cameras surrounding the property.
Yes. You know, there's
none of that
cameras.
got on camera.
Right.
What about the police body cam footage? Because I'd like to know who third party guy was.
Right.
Or what I want to see. I want to see the entrance in. They're just like, hey, what the fuck?
Nope.
Maybe
don't look.
Now maybe instead of having a safe word, they had like a, in case we get caught, you hit me. Maybe that's why they had the hammer. They're like going at it, and they're like, if anybody like sees this, you grab the hammer and hit me.
Yes.
And then it all goes away.
Now,
you were attacking me.
The police were a little confused when the hammer squeaked when he got hit.
And was buzzing as it dropped to the floor. Says there was only one hammer and it belonged to Pelosi, and only one cop said that he said, "Where's Nancy?" None of the other cops said he said that. So he might not have said that at all.
Right.
Or maybe the male prostitute was like, "This guy's weird. Where's Nancy? She needs to intervene quick. Nancy, please come save me."
She saved me the last time.
Yes. Or maybe it's just like, she needs to get on this because I like when she takes her teeth out. Admittedly, well, can you imagine coke teeth?
Oh, no.
That grinding?
Oh.
Oh, this just got weird. Admittedly, admittedly, DePape is a known nutcase. He's an election denier, says mainstream media, who has posted conspiracy theories online. That may be true, but he also lives in Berkeley, where he is a 42-year-old career student.
Interesting.
He goes to Berkeley? Okay. I don't know. I don't know how much. Again, this is all this guy. My law firm served a lawsuit against Paul Pelosi one time in San Francisco for attempting to serve at other residents, Napa, after attempting to serve at other residences, Napa in Georgetown. They weren't home, but staff were, and multiple law enforcement officers were on the perimeter. Break-in is odd given the level of security, said Harmeet Dillon, Republican National Committee chairman. Now, the fact is, Nancy Pelosi's out of town, so maybe all that security detail is hers, being Speaker of the House, and when she leaves, they leave. But you'd think they'd leave some for him, too.
Well, because he is a millionaire, and you know, owns a corporation.
Right.
So, and you would think, yes, that the family members of prominent politicians do have their own security.
Yeah, you would think so, but apparently not, and no security system.
Unless he called them off,
yes,
right?
And turned off the camera system,
Right.
and I don't know.
Yeah, but the plot.
That's the end
thickens
of
for
this.
sure.
But
Yeah.
what do you think of that one?
Yeah, that's
It's still more believable than the official.
Yes, it is,
because they filled all the holes.
Literally. Yeah.
So
that's really weird.
let me hear it. You tip that mic in a bit.
Yeah.
Let me hear your thoughts.
Just
unload on me.
I figured I'm thinking Nancy's out of town, you know, doing her AOC comic thing, and he decided he wanted to get crazy, freaky with a Castro nudist cock ring guy, and
now
decided to have a party.
The first half, did you think you heard it all?
I did not expect that.
No.
I mean, there had been rumors here and there, you know. I mean, but again, there was nothing official. But that one really kind of
that one did
home.
it for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
You like that one. So, do we believe the official story that he broke into the back door, through the wall, through the security, through the cameras, came into the home? Somehow Pelosi gets to the phone, calls 911, and says, "This guy I don't know, who's my friend David, he's waiting for my wife. You need to come." And so they come, they both go downstairs. He opens the door for the police, greets them. They say what's going on. He turns back around, grabs the hammer. A fight ensues, and then he gets the hammer and
That
strikes him on
sounds
the head.
like something that a PR person would try to say to cover things up.
Yes, absolutely. That's what I was going to say. It's like, this sounds like a perfect cover story.
Oh,
not
absolutely.
apparently not perfect,
Yes.
but if this guy, Nancy Pelosi's husband, really did go through all that shit that this last article said, that cock ring wearing Castro nudist, he brought him home from a gay bar, and then the neighbors called the police because there was a lot of sound going on in there, and they knew Nancy was out of town, and they're like,
never
well,
sound like that when
I
Nancy's
don't know
home.
what's going on with this elderly gentleman here. Maybe the cops should come check on him. The cops open the door, or they knock on the door, and third party that's filming it all opens the door, and they're like, what's going on? They're like, oh shit, maybe Paul just took the hammer and just hit himself. It's like, I was attacked. And it hits himself.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, this is gonna make the news. Paul's in the hospital. The cops,
How can we spin this?
Everybody saw the cops at Paul's house. Paul's in the hospital. Maybe the injury never happened, though. Maybe they're like, well, the cops are here. We got to make a story. Well, there was a break-in. Well, like, how do we make it more?
Make it seem like he was injured.
Take him to the hospital.
Then there's sympathy, right? No, people won't question it.
And then David DePepe hits him in the head. They're like, I said, make him seem like he's injured. I didn't say. I guess we can work with this. I guess we'll go with this. So yeah, and then if that happened, they'd have to cover it up.
Oh, absolutely.
And it would have to be a believable story. But
make it seem like he's a right-wing extremist.
Yeah. Well,
right?
obviously we got to take full advantage and turn this political. Not only was even if the attack went exactly how it's planned, or how they said, even if it went exactly how the official story says, they would still be like, we can work with this.
Yeah.
We got elections coming up in 2 weeks. We can work with this.
1 week.
Yeah,
I guess it was 2 weeks.
2 weeks back then. Yeah, we got the election coming up. What if we make this guy a political terrorist?
Right.
It's like, it's not just a homeless guy that broke into a rich guy's house and beat him up.
Right.
We got to make this political.
Why not?
Well,
It
he
happened
said,
to Kavanaugh, right?
Yeah. He said, "Where's Nancy?" You know,
Yeah, right.
like obviously he wanted to break her kneecaps. He told us.
Right.
Obviously. So then the website sites start showing up.
Right.
Well, to back up the story, the blog sites and the Facebook posts that now,
of course, because
no longer
they got
exist.
they got what's his face on speed dial, to kind of get some addition.
Well, obviously it's supposed to delete it because, but we assure you that extreme content hit it.
We're there.
So this article, we got a little bit of time left. We were. There's some oddities around the web, like I said, they appear to face the planet. What's my camera? I'll come. So let's get into it. This says Paul Pelosi hammer attack suspect. Data attack linked to conspiracy law. Come on. Froze. Yeah. But we haven't. Like that. So, computer at mouth. Here we go. I think it's probably says the man police Nancy Pelosi San Francisco home and viciously attacked her. It's linked by name to far out, not far right, but far out conspiracy. Far out, man. David DePape of Berkeley, California, was identified Friday afternoon as a suspect in the hammer attack on Paul Pelosi. 82 in the early hours Friday morning. DePape's name is tied to two conspiracy blogs. One titled Big Brother Censorship Hell, featuring a banner warning readers that the elite ruling class never censor themselves. You can still turn on any mainstream news channel to hear day and night the narrative put forth by the people who rule you. Although the posts written under the username David DePape are mostly blank, they feature bizarre headlines, including pedophile normalization and communist voodoo.
Like this coming from a guy whose life partner is in jail for pedophilia.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. That makes total sense.
It absolutely does. The first post was created in June of 2007. That was most recently updated in August 22. The second blog, this is the fun one. Friendlyfriends.com. No, just FRENLYFRENS.com. Friendlyfriends.com.
So creepy.
That sounds like a hookup site.
Yeah, right.
It posts more detailed posts under categories like hysteria and corruption. Several of the posts espouse anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, including one that reads, "Isn't there a trope about Jews using the courts to rip people off?" We got to throw in COVID deniers.
Gotta hit everything.
So it's unclear. Pape, who has been described as living in storage unit, himself authored the blogs. Yeah, where's he doing this from?
Right.
Where's he creating web pages? Relatives and acquaintances confirmed to CNN he frequently shared conspiracy and seemed out of touch with reality. Pape's Facebook page has since been removed. Features the post riddled with false information about COVID pandemic, the 2020 election, and January 6, 2021 riot on the Capitol. In addition to a number of transphobic posts, they also disseminated website links falsely claiming that COVID vaccines were deadly. It's weird. Posts they've got to have multiple authors from multiple. This is saying falsely claims vaccines are deadly, but I've seen New York Post claims vaccines. Whatever they decide, whoever's writing this day. Just Rice, who worked with Pappy several years ago at Berkeley, told CNN that his social media activity was so in so many ways and filled with so much anger. Another former acquaintance, Linda Schneider, told the outlet she received really disturbing emails from DePape and eventually stopped communicating with him. So dangerous. Again, even if these social media posts are real, he's a fucking nut job. What do you expect?
Yeah, exactly.
It still doesn't sound like he's some criminal mastermind, like some politically motivated terrorist.
Nothing like that.
Originally from Canada, DePape first made headlines at 13 when he was in that news. Okay, that.
Years.
Yeah,
right. And
fortunately, there's this site called webarchive.org that archives old websites.
Gotta love technology.
Yes. This one here I found is friendlyfriends.com or .org.
Oh my.
Let me zoom out. So you've arrived. Friends, welcome. It's got a weird like horseman.
That's a unicorn.
Unicorn man.
Yes.
Thing.
That's weird.
Just this seemed like the website of a right-wing like Proud Boys type guy.
God, I hope not.
Does it seem like Proud Boys
No,
right here? I mean,
no.
they are into like the Hawaiian shirts and stuff. Maybe this is maybe
unicorn masks. That guy's clearly galloping.
Here's the interesting part. If you click on log here, it brings up a list of all the topics that he talks about, including a turd, which is Amber Heard. Apparently, I clicked on that one. AI, art, aliens, bullies, climate hysteria, communism, corruption, COVID, the Jubes.
The Jubes?
The Jubes. I'm guessing is the Jews. A Gamergate, Great Reset, groomer schools, guns, humor, immigrants. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on and on. Kids, memes, pedogate, propaganda, Red Skull, spiritual. I mean, he talks about everything. Ukraine, There's even an uncategorized section here for the stuff that he didn't categorize. So let's click on something. Let's go to Great Reset because we like to talk about the Great Reset.
Absolutely.
Oh, got a comment? Is it real? Craig DeCosta says Craig is breaking up. That happens occasionally. My computer was going slow. It's going faster now. So let me know if it sounds any better because we don't like being broken up. So, so I clicked on the Great Reset here, and he's got an article titled "You Will Own Nothing and Be Happy." You click on it, and this pops up. You want to read more? Subscribe to keep reading. So you have to pay to keep reading. That doesn't say anything. Let's go to Dujubes because that's obviously up our alley.
Obviously.
Let's see if there's any what articles. And he coded it so badly that every time you click on a link, it pops open a new window. So you get like a million windows open. All right. So the Jewish state der Israel is this article. Let's click on it. Same thing. Nothing there. No content. As far as I know, I'm not paying to see this.
Right.
Is anybody out there paid for this content to see it? Because I'd like to know if there's anything actually there.
Right, yeah.
I don't even know, since it's archived, I don't even know if you could actually get to the pay for site or not.
Probably got rid of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see, I haven't clicked on it, but everyone I've clicked so far.
Yeah.
Who financed Hitler rise to power? Same thing.
Yeah.
Another. Let's maybe go into a different topic. Propaganda. Yeah, it opens a new link. Canada embarrassingly tyrannical shithole. That sounds interesting. But nothing.
Try uncategorized.
Okay. Uncategorized. Just want to know if it's in uncategorized. You're like, what? Wouldn't categorize. Disinfo tactics. Click on that one. Come on. Nothing. How hard would it be to put up a page quickly with like bots and shit and just flood it with all these conspiracy topics and have literally nothing there, no content whatsoever,
knowing that nobody's going to subscribe and it wouldn't matter because the website has been
removed. Yes. Right. So you could be like, hey, this is connected to this guy, and obviously as a conspiracy theorist, look at all these in-depth topics, because that article I read was like, oh, this one, the Friendly Friends, gets in-depth on these. It's like, does it?
Right. Who's paid for it to get in?
Yeah, well, they said the old site, remember they said most of those articles or blog entries were blank too. Yeah. So it's like, where, based on what? Did somebody, because if somebody paid and can prove that there was actually content here, I would love to see it. Otherwise, I'm just led to believe this is a fake site, a scam of a site that was just thrown up and just filled with all these topics.
Yeah.
And then they're just like, well, how are we going to write all these things? Because that's a lot of writing. Like, just put them all behind a paywall, and nobody's going to pay to see it.
Right.
Because you know why I know nobody's going to pay to see it? Because right here, 0 views, 0 comments.
Yeah.
That's on every single one too.
Wow.
Nobody's viewed them.
Yeah.
Nobody's commented on them. Sounds kind of made up to me.
A little bit.
A little made up.
Yeah.
The other part is this website was created last month. You see all these. You saw all the headlines under all these categories, and there's at least probably 30 categories here, all created within the last month. Funny part is, apparently, and this isn't coming from me, so I didn't see this personally, but some people are saying that it was created last month. It was published on the internet last month, but there are blogs that are dated before the publishing date. So it's like they're backdated. So a lot of strangeness here. It's like they're working really hard to make this guy look like a nut job.
They got to. I mean, this is
really fucking hard.
The Speaker of the House.
I mean, they didn't even have to work that hard. He was already a nut job.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But it's like they went to the extra length.
But now he's a right-wing nut job.
Obviously.
Right?
Even though one of the things they point out is, well, he's a right-wing nut job and he's anti-Semitic. It's like, Those don't go hand in hand.
Well-
usually, most of the time, except for like Hitler. He was right wing,
Right.
and
right wing nut jobs don't typically work in Berkeley
Mm.
and are lifelong students.
or our nudists that are hemp jewelry making homeless psychedelic
Exactly,
takers.
Yes.
Ted Crux says, "Where is the home security camera and body cam footage?"
Exactly.
Yes, we've asked that too.
Yes.
It's just like there's got to be footage out there somewhere. I mean, as soon as they open the door and see Paul Pelosi standing in his knickers, they probably like, "Oh shit!" and they cover their body cam photo up, and they're like, "Oh hey guys, shit!" and then hits himself with a fucking hammer. It's all just there's so much oddity here, and this website shit doesn't make it it any more believable. It makes it less believable
Yes.
because of the fact that all this shit is here and you can't access it. It's so convenient again that the Facebook page is gone
Yeah.
and the website's gone, but we had web crawlers on webarchive.org that picked it up, and clearly you can see all the shit.
But there's nothing there.
There's literally nothing here. It's just an empty page.
Yeah. That's a very nice cover-up job.
You believe it? You believe any of it?
No.
Do you believe any of the
the official narrative? Oh fuck no.
So what do you believe is what happened in your mind?
I think Paul maybe in 2007 tried to avoid controversy, but I think his better nature is getting the better of him, and I think he's let loose a little bit. Maybe he figures Nancy's days are numbered.
You know, those elitists are into some weird shit in the first
fuck
place.
Yeah, they are. Yes.
The fact, and Paul's probably going to die soon because he's kind of outed some of their weird shit. They're like, Paul, you know, it's getting really hard to cover up your shenanigans.
Right.
Like we covered it up a month ago, and now there's this. You're like, I get, we're all into weird shit, Paul, but yours is coming out and it's going to start making people ask questions about us. And Nancy's about to put a pillow on your face.
Well, you can only cover up your shit for so long
Yes.
when you're in the public eye like that, right?
Right.
And let's face it, I mean, he's not really the favorite son anymore, if he ever was. So eventually your protection's going to fold, right? Again, Nancy's probably not going to be speaker in about a week. Agree?
Hopefully.
I mean, if we're all lucky.
Well, if they push narratives like, oh, this is violent extremism from the right coming at us, and I mean, this is kind of like their Hail Mary pass. They're like, let's use this. This is our January 6th.
Woo! Right?
And now that's all how they've been talking about January 6th for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Do you think CNN and MSNBC talk about the Pelosi attack for the next
I
2
can
years?
see Joe Biden be like, fuck, we didn't want to use it like this.
Yes.
But now we have to, Nancy. Get your boy under control.
Maybe Donald Trump's tepid response or less tepid response was, nope. Not touching that one.
Nope.
I'm not giving them any ammunition.
And that
at
would
all.
be the smartest thing he's ever done in his entire life.
I can't picture that from him. But if I were him, I'd be like, they'd be like, well, this whole thing happened. It's right wing. And Donald Trump's like, I just want to. Part of me wants to be like, good.
Yeah.
And but the other part of me is like, no, I'm just not going to say anything.
I can imagine every media outlet in the world trying to get a hold of Trump right now, trying to get him to say something.
So what do you think about this? What do you think about? I'm not saying they're actually
they're both in their underwear, Donald.
Yeah. It's like, oh damn it! I got to say something. And Ivanka's in there. She's like, Dad, put the fucking phone down.
He's sitting here like this.
Yes. It's like, I can't. My followers need me to say something. I always say something. It's gonna be huge. I was like, Dad, I'm locking you out of your phone. And so his less than tepid response was saying nothing. And they're like, ah, it's like this would. I mean, that would nail it for them if Donald Trump would just say
and
something.
That's what they're hoping for. Yes, absolutely.
And then they can use that for Donald Trump said this, and he's promoting this violence against against politicians. Even though, again, back to like the Rand Paul thing, nobody gave two shits about that. It's It's interesting how the Rand Paul thing didn't spiral into absurdity like this one did.
Yeah.
Now, do you think that's because the right is just more crazy minded, or do you think maybe there's just a lot more to this one?
I think there's a lot more to this one, and I think by trying to cover it up, they just blew the shit wide open.
Yeah, the more they covered up, the more it just like
because
seeps through the cracks.
official narrative just doesn't make sense whatsoever.
All they would have had to do is say he was attacked in his home.
Yeah,
by a crazy guy.
That's it.
And people would be like, "Well, who was it?" And like, he's fucking crazy. I don't know.
Right? Yeah, David DePape or something like that. And they were like, "Oh yeah, that guy is crazy." Leave it at that.
Yeah. So, but then it's once they start, it's like a kid that lies, and the more they tell, like
the more
elaborate and
details they
get
give,
in the details, the less believable it gets. It's just like, wait, you had me originally, but then you expounded on that
exactly,
and now this story is just way
now
bizarre.
it doesn't make sense.
And then monsters came down, and
and then there was a black Hitler making pancakes. Remember that from Community?
No.
When the air conditioning repair took Troy into the back room, and Troy's like, "Why is there a black Hitler making pancakes?" And he's like, "Because the more ridiculous it is, the less people will believe you."
I do remember that. Yes, that is so funny and so true. But yeah, I mean, we got the left coming out. This is actually BBC coming out saying the Paul Pelosi attack, violent extremism warning ahead of U.S. election. So this is where they're taking this.
Yeah.
They take this bizarre story and throw it obviously into violent extremism heading into the election
because it fits the narrative perfect at this point.
Based on everything I know from the character development we had of David DePape, he's not a political activist leader type.
No.
He's not a freaking Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
That's the Unabomber, right?
No, Kaczynski. Ted Kaczynski. Ted Bundy's the
yeah,
serial killer.
Yeah. He's not a Ted Kaczynski.
No.
He's not a freaking Timothy McVeigh.
But
he's none of that.
If the one person he probably would have listened to, Gypsy Tob,
is
a Pelosi fan.
We need to, that should say something.
Yes, exactly.
But she's been away for a while, so maybe
but
that's
even still, if she kept a communication with him,
clearly she has an open line of communication. She's sending love letters, public love letters to a 14-year-old
calling the news station a couple times,
news stations, and then calling back the news station. Yeah, so I mean, clearly she could be calling him.
Absolutely.
Or maybe his tipping point is when she went to prison and he just like fell off his
That's
rockers.
true. He's got nothing then.
And stumbled, which that was in 2019-ish.
Yeah.
So right around the election time when the Q shit was like rampant. So maybe maybe he stumbled into like the darkness of the interwebs and fell into it. But I'm not saying she was his handler, but she very well could have been his handler because she was the manipulative type. He was the easily, like we said, very susceptible, very like CIA wet dream susceptible.
Right.
And then she's like this kind of off her rockers lefty handler type.
Yeah.
But
right.
Either way, it doesn't
matter. From Moscow, no less, right?
Right, exactly. Maybe she learned some tactics while she was there. But either way, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem like the type that's going to go plot the kidnap and assassination of or kneecapping of a freaking high up politician.
Right.
He's just fucking nuts. He's a nutcase.
Yes.
Best case scenario, he's just like on drugs and stumbled into the guy's house, and the guy's like, "What are you doing here?" And he's like, "I don't know. I got a hammer though." And he's like, "I'm gonna call the police." And he's like, "Okay." And then they showed up, and he's like, "Oh, you did." And he hits him with a hammer. Best case scenario there.
Right. Yeah.
Worst case scenario is he's a gastro nudist hooker from the gay bar with cock rings.
Yes. And Paul got a little too crazy,
a little handsy, likes his hammers a little much.
Yes.
DePape doesn't like the hammers as much, especially after the fourth, fifth go round. And so maybe he's like, I said my safe word and knock him upside the head.
Yeah. Hey, Dave, Nancy's out of town again. Why don't you bring the zip ties and hammer over?
So what do we do with this? What do we do with this knowledge? The elections are coming up.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you think this really is this like the smoking gun? Is this like the Hunter Biden laptop of the left?
No, but I think again, the left is trying to use it to try to
Obviously.
shit, we might as well try to do something with this. And this is a right-wing attack, right?
Yes, obviously.
So
I mean, clearly.
This is what happens if the right wing takes over, right? They're gonna be kneecapping our people
in their underwear.
and their underwear.
They don't even wear pants.
It's ridiculous.
So, after all the evidence has been gathered by us, investigative journalists that we are.
Yes, yes.
Final conclusion. What happened, Bill?
I think Paul was taking the hammer and things got out of hand and things got out, but then they're like, shit, nope, we need to retract it. And Nancy's like, come on, you guys owe me some favors. So then they're like, well, okay. They opened the door and the guy was attacked by a right-wing nut job. They call in some favors. FBI gets on the case. They make some fake websites and blogs to make it look like this guy is a right-wing freak.
Yes.
And try to make it into this whole,
Ordeal.
extremist wing, another January 6th attack. And what they're really hoping is that it just gets swept under the rug.
Yeah. Or it makes people vote blue.
Right. In any case, and maybe in San Francisco, be like, oh shit, they're going after Nancy's husband.
You know, this will completely disappear after elections.
Oh,
though.
fuck.
It'll
if they're
it'll
lucky.
just
Yes.
vanish. Even if they convince people that this was a right-wing extremist, they're going to vanish it after November, because the more it's out there, the more people are going to look at it and break it down and point out the holes and pick at the holes a little bit, and then the truth may come out.
Yeah.
So they're going to be like, get rid of it. We're done with it. It might not even make it past like tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because
my guess is Paul ends up having a stroke here in the next year.
Think so?
Yes.
Now, I don't think my personal thought is similar to yours. Is this was some kinky shit that the cops walked in on? I'm just gonna say I don't think Paul even got hit.
Oh no, I don't think he
until
did
I
either.
see the X-rays made public. I don't think he got hit. I think they may have checked him into the hospital to kind of perpetuate the story more.
Right.
But I don't think he got hit.
He's under armed guard. Nobody can see him, right?
Mhm.
No reports are going to get out. No, I agree. I don't think he got hit either.
Show me the X-rays, and I guess that wouldn't even work for me because you
again,
can alter X-rays too.
Right. I mean, you're going to question the narrative less if the guy's attacked, right? Well, how dare you?
Well, yeah, they've
Right?
come out and like the left has come out hard on like Twitter and stuff. Just like, oh, these right-wing politicians that make a mockery of an elderly man getting attacked in his home, and it's like, how could you go after someone's husband, even if you don't like the politician? Why would you go after their spouse, right? Or why would you condone this with jokery?
Right. Yeah, exactly, and make it sick.
Because, well, first of all, we're sick. We are sick individuals.
Right.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
So I mean, because it's there.
Right. But it's like, but even if he was gay, right? Why is that so wrong?
None of us said that was so wrong.
Well, exactly. But
you're the ones trying to cover it up.
Exactly.
So you can't call us homophobic by saying this might be a gay, kinky tripe, but you're the ones trying to cover it up. So, and like, man, if that was the case, just come out with it.
Right. Exactly.
Just give it to us.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 2022. Do you think it would ruin her career if it came out that he's into some kinky shit?
No, if anything, it would probably give her a boost in San Francisco.
Yeah, you would think,
right?
but
she's like, yeah, you know what? My husband is gay, and we have an agreement, and that's the way it is.
Yeah, I married him for his money, and I make him more money, so it works. It works out well.
We love each other for the type of people we are.
Yes, kind of like the Clintons.
If it makes him happy, he can do whatever he wants. Right?
Kind of like
and
the
in San
Clintons.
Francisco, people will be like, that's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, but there's some people in the middle states that are like,
right. But those people are kind of like
And
that
they're-
with Nancy anyways.
well, they're not voting for Nancy either, but they are
Exactly.
voting for the blue or whatever to
Right,
keep
right.
her at the top there.
That's true.
So
Yes. But those people are still going to vote for her.
yeah,
Right?
that's fair. That's true.
So, but again, it's the fact that they're trying to make this into a right-wing extremist attack.
It doesn't even
that's the
matter what
problem.
it was. It doesn't even
Exactly.
matter if it wasn't this kinky stuff that we seem to think it is because it's hilarious. If it was just attack, the fact that they're trying so hard to make this a mega Q conspiracy mastermind extremist, right-wing extremism, that's the part that's just like, you're stretching it. So if you're going to stretch it that way, we're going to stretch it really far that way because it goes both ways.
The funniest part of it is that that they're dying that Trump is not tweeting anything.
Like, come on. Can Elon Musk
what else do we have to give you?
Can Elon Musk just let him back on Twitter so he can post something so we can grab onto that and it played out through the election cycle?
Because Elon Musk is the only one that is running with this.
Yes. Yeah. He deleted his tweet almost as soon as he put. It's like he realized, oh shit, I'm the owner of Twitter now.
I can't do that shit.
I should probably hold back on that. So I can't just be a total troll now, which I would be, even if I would. I'd be like, it's my fucking company. I'm going to troll all
over the place.
Yes, exactly. So, I mean, that's the extent of what I know, and plus some extra stuff that I threw in for good measure.
Yes.
Just again, fill
you
in the
definitely
holes.
changed my mind on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to again. They leave all the holes.
Exactly.
People with imaginations get to fill those holes.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
Give us the straight information, and then we won't have to make it up for you.
Exactly.
So you don't want misinformation out there. Give us the information. Otherwise, people like us will make a good time out of it. And it's a good time. That's all the time we got for this show. That's all I got. You got anything else to add?
No, I don't. I think we kind of beat that.
You think did we hammer that one home?
We hammered that pretty well.
Tell us what you think. Check us out on social media. Drop a comment. The comment section's always open on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, everywhere. You can find us on our social media platforms at the handle @BreakTheBellPod. Drop us a line. Tell us what your opinion is of this. Do you think this was some crazy kinky stuff? Do you think it was just a crazy delusional guy that broke into a home? Do you think he was a right-wing extreme terrorist that masterminded a threat against democracy as we know it? Let us know. We want to know your opinion.
We shot heard around the world.
We told you our opinion.
Yeah.
God, that just no. What was shot that heard?
Exactly.
Okay. Let us know your opinion because God knows we let you hear our opinions. So social media @BreakTheBellPod. Make sure you share the shit far and wide because that's how we get our name out there to do bigger and better things and come up with more awesome shows like this one where we can thoroughly discuss you eternally.
Yes.
Check out our store, buy our merch at breakthebell.bigcartel.com. You can find links to all the shit at breakthebellpod.com. Have a great rest of your week. We will be back for the we as in me and my brother for the 2 Scoop show Thursday morning 7 a.m. It's where we just spend short form 20 minutes just bullshitting about something else that's bullshit worthy. Otherwise we'll be back for the weekend wrap up this weekend, which is inevitably where we wrap up your week. That'll probably be Sunday. Usually Sunday live around 6, 7 somewhere in there. Otherwise be back here live next Monday night, which is when we normally have our live shows. We just pushed it back for Halloween purposes. So 7 p.m. Central Standard Time every Monday night. Make sure you check that out. We want to have as much participation as possible. So come join us live. Otherwise, have a great rest of your week. We will talk to you next time.
Peace.
Goodbye.
The Break the Bell podcast is brought to you by you. So pat yourself on the back because without you, we would be talking to ourselves. A special thanks to our Patreon members, Justin Zielinski, Remzo Martinez, Stephanie Parker, and T.O. Jacobson. A shout out to our sponsors, Run Your Mouth Coffee, the On the Run podcast, and Goulash Media. If you'd like to help support us, visit patreon.com/breakthebell or buy our garbage at breakthebell.bigcartel.com. Get back here next week and let us continue to invade your ear holes. And as always, never stop talking.